So, welcome, Georgie. How are you today?
I'm super well. We've just hired 2 senior people, so it's going to be fantastic.
Brilliant. Before we get into who you are, tell me what's on your mind. Maybe it's that. Relief.
I think what's on my mind is when you're a business and you're hiring the new generation, so the people in their
Yes.
20s, I think they're so fixated on being empowered and having a work-life balance that actually that doesn't work for the business, because you kind of have to put a bit of work in to actually get a result. So I think that's a real challenge. So it's, how do you inspire the younger generation? Because we just worked, didn't have any life balance.
No.
How do you inspire them, give them a bit of the work-life balance, but also allow them to progress? So that's like a real challenge, I think.
I'm going to come back to that because I'm really interested in that. But before I do, let me quickly introduce you. So this is Georgie Wolfenden, everyone. She is a founder, creative director. She's an expert in brands, trends, marketing, and her company is called The Beam Room. And Georgie and I met at my studios when she was PRing someone else, and I looked at her and she looked at me, and we sort of fell in love, didn't we?
Love at first sight. Yeah, exactly.
We were both like, I was just like, I really like you. You're so lovely. And I'd heard a lot about her because you had PR'd Trioga. So I thought you were an incredibly sophisticated North London girl. I wanted to be your friend. And then lo and behold, what Georgie did for me was amazing. I hired her when I had the Good Vibe Studios, and the brief was to help me promote that. And then I went through the menopause, went loopy, and decided I didn't want to do that, sold my business. And I just wanted to teach. I wanted to get more deeply into my teaching. And Georgie, what I loved about you was you did not bat an eyelid. You were like, okay. And because of you, I am known as, I'm quite well known as a teacher now. So thank you so much. You took me from knackered studio owner to absolutely loving what I do.
You'd outgrown it, Nahid. So that was obvious that you'd
Yes.
outgrown that.
Yeah.
So it just made sense. Your
Yes.
new thing
Yes.
just was so exciting, and all the stuff about the nervous system. And I knew there was going to be appetite in the market for that, because we're all so
Yes.
frazzled, aren't we?
Yes. Yeah, we are. But I just loved how you didn't bat an eyelid at all. You were like, okay, pivot. And I just thought it was so good. So before we move on, because I really want to come back to what you said about that, because I think that's really interesting. But just tell me a little bit about yourself, and tell, everyone listening in and who will, I'm sure, listen to the recording later on. You've spent about 2 decades, haven't you, at the intersection of health, wellness, and media. And
Yeah.
was there a moment that you realised that wellness was becoming a much bigger trend?
Yeah, I think even at Trioga, which is probably 27 years ago, I think it felt very new and novel. And Jonathan, the founder at the time, had gone to New York and LA and seen all these amazing yoga studios and was bringing that to London. So at the time, there was a lot of celebrity interest with all the Primrose Hill set. And I could feel there was a real thirst for that. And you have the tastemakers who do it first, and then the celebrities, and they're all invited. But then it's going to trickle down.
Yeah.
But then they had an amazing cafe there at the time, and Katia, this gorgeous girl, was saying, "Oh, you've got to drink a green juice." And I was on Roaccutane and my skin was flaring. She said, "No, do this, do this." So she changed my whole diet, made me drink green juices. And I thought, okay, I'm going to really PR your little cafe. And I was an accidental PR at the time. And Calgary from Vogue came in, and people from the city were sending their cars, and it just went crazy. And it was a tiny little, literally a juice bar. No one knew about green juices, only Calgary from Vogue, who was a good LA girl. And I could just feel the interest and the thirst for people wanting to get to feel better.
Yeah.
So even at that point, I knew it was a really interesting beginning. And we had these amazing practitioners. And Jonathan, he'll kill me for saying this at the time, said, "We just want to PR the yoga." And I was like, "But it's so interesting. You've got these amazing life-changing practitioners here. Let's PR them as well." So in the end, he let me do. So I think that was when it kind of began. I began with the practitioners.
Yes.
And it kind of came together. So I think early on, I knew there was a real interest.
Yeah. I mean, Georgie, it's just saying that your internet connection is unstable. Is there anything you can do?
Let me see. I don't know why it's unstable. Maybe my phone is actually getting hot. I think that's why it's doing that. I might have to change rooms, Nahid. Sorry.
That's okay. Don't
Maybe
worry.
we'll
You change rooms.
Maybe this is cooler in here. Sorry, it's changed rooms. Okay.
Hello. So, and so, yeah, so you were right at the beginning of it all. And when you first started working in this space, what was the conversation around health and what feels very different today?
I think it probably felt more holistic then, and now it's much more data driven. So now it's much more, what's your data? Let's, wear an Aura ring. Let's know everything. I think there's a downside to over like knowing so much about how you slept could actually make you then not sleep.
Yes.
So I've got to be a bit careful with the data and with all the tech that's everyone checking everything and got quite obsessive. I think innately we know how we feel. We don't need everything to be tracked all the time. There's a value to tracking, but I think this generation is doing that so much that you sort of, you forget to be human. No, it's not all about the data. The data's helpful.
Yeah, completely. I think it's a really good entry point. I think it's a really good entry point into things. But then after that, I remember having a Fitbit and just thinking, I actually know what 10,000 steps is. I know, I don't want to be governed by that. I just want to go for a nice walk. I don't want everything to be turned into self-optimization. What fascinates me about your work is that you spend your life deciding which ideas deserve attention. So, how do you know when something's a passing trend versus something that's signaling a deeper shift in what people, in how kind of people want to live? How do you know?
I mean, I think you just have a gut instinct as a PR. So you're kind of looking at the whole market, and then interesting people and experts come to you. So when we were working together, Nahid, I knew the nervous system was going to be something the media wanted to speak about for a long time. Although it was trending for a period of time, I knew it was going to be a continued and evolved conversation. So I knew everyone was talking about mental health. It made complete sense for everyone then to talk about emotional health. And people like Sabine Don, our longevity expert, says if your emotional health isn't, if you're not happy emotionally, your body is not, you're not going to be healthy. Yeah. She knows that. So there's a science element to it as well now that's been backed up by the neuroscientists and the doctors. So you were ahead of the curve there, Nahid.
Always.
Always, exactly.
What do you think we've normalized in the wellness industry that perhaps isn't serving people? So you mentioned data. Anything else?
What do I think? What has become normalized now?
Yeah, really normalized in the wellness industry that isn't very helpful.
Well, I think things really trending.
Okay, your Wi-Fi is really not great in this room.
The matcha craze or the, overdoing it with I don't know. Is it worse in this room?
Yeah.
Let me move again.
It's much worse in that room for some reason.
Helpful, is it? I think because it's so hot, it's affecting my Wi-Fi. Maybe. Let me go in here and see if that's better. Is that better?
I think so. Yeah, I think it was that.
No.
Yeah. I think we're back.
It may be the phone. We're back. Okay, great.
Yes. All right.
So, sorry, where was I, Nahid?
So we were talking about what we've normalized in the wellness industry that isn't serving people.
Yeah, I think these obsessions with certain things, whether you're obsessed about protein, then obsessed about fiber, then obsessed about, I think that's not very healthy. That's why I think understanding your data is quite helpful. So if you have all the testing, I think that is helpful. Does it suit you? So if you're low in iron, having loads of matcha is depleting your iron. So I don't think a lot of women know that. So if you're having all that matcha around your is fad doing certain things maybe are not great. You have to sort of understand why you're doing it.
Can you repeat that again because you froze? So
okay,
matcha.
Sorry.
Matcha and iron.
So something like so a lot of women it can interrupt your hormones, especially just as you come on your period, and it depletes your iron level. So I think a lot of women don't know that. Also,
I don't know that.
Yeah, so you're flooding your body with antioxidants, but then you're depleting your iron reserves. So I think there's all those interesting things, and these fads can make people just overdo it with certain things. Like the coconut oil came in, then no one's drinking olive oil, which olive oil is amazing for you. So I think it's everything. It's finding a balance.
Yeah. Well, that is the problem, isn't it? Because I'm often asked for things for PR stories where you just think that just isn't true. You know,
Yeah,
where I get people, I get journalists saying to me, well, the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is part of a whole system. So you can't just pinpoint one thing. I don't think any scientist has been able to say, oh, yeah, that was that reacting on its own. Nothing reacts on its own anyway. And so you have to kind of re-gear the story in some way. Of course you want to quote for them, but you don't want to perpetuate something that isn't helpful or true. So it can be quite tricky, isn't it? I suppose
exactly.
it's quite tricky, isn't it? I mean, you're so great at finding different angles for people and how to sell things, but you always pitch it from a science perspective.
Yeah, I mean, try to as much as possible. I think sometimes you have an inkling that even though the science isn't quite there yet, like with the hydrogen water, you sense it will be there. So sometimes there's emerging science, but it's not quite there yet. But the journalists are quite interested in it. So there is that kind of side of things where you're giving people a sneak preview into what is going to happen. But we know the science isn't there. So I guess it's always being transparent with the journalist.
Yes. Um, and tell me about your podcast. You want to talk about your podcast?
Yeah, I kind of filmed it under duress. My house was like, "You've got to tell more women about all these amazing people you know." So we filmed this podcast. It really stressful.
It was great.
It was great. I mean, it came out absolutely fine. It was just I wanted to give my experts a platform to talk about their areas of expertise. And actually, it was really fun. And now I've done it once, I'll do it again. So we spoke
Yes.
to you, we spoke to Dr. Sabine Donai, we spoke to a sleep expert, we spoke to Federica Amati, the head of nutrition at Zoe. So it was amazing. So obviously, I haven't PR'd myself in that way, but we will get around to that at some point. But we will film a second series, hopefully. By Frozen, maybe.
Brilliant.
Huh?
Efficiency has such an important conversation. Did you hear that?
Yes, I did. Oh, I don't know why my network's so bad, Nahid. Sorry, this isn't very helpful, is it?
That's okay.
Back.
We're back. We're back.
We're
And
back.
why do you think this stage of life has become such an important conversation?
Why do I just I think women maybe felt more irrelevant maybe in our mums'
Yeah.
generations, whereas now I think you have this whole other life and you want to live it to the max in a
Yes.
way. And you want to, and we know so much more about hormones and HRT, and we've got all these amazing experts. So the second chapter is actually quite exciting.
Yes,
Whereas
it is.
before it felt quite daunting, I think. Whereas having all these amazing midlife women around you and you're all on the same you're all feeling similar things, I guess, similar but different.
Yeah.
And I think you just get to a point where you're really like, you've gone past making everyone happy. And I think that's quite a relief.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
being able to say, actually, this is what I need to do is okay. You've been facilitating everyone else's needs probably for 20 years or more. And now you can kind of have a moment of space. Your kids are maybe a bit older, or, your business is in a better place, or you can actually hopefully enjoy the moment more.
And do you think midlife is changing the way that women define success?
Well, when you move into midlife, do you define it differently? I
Yeah.
think so. Well, success for me isn't having another client and billing more money now. It's how can I
Yeah.
carve a bit of time out where I
Yes.
can actually slow down a little bit, because obviously PR is so fast and it's got faster with all the social media elements that I think it's really, you have to make a concerted effort to slow down.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things you've taught me, Naheed, with your practice. It's like fast, 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 do Ashtanga yoga. Everything's
Yeah.
on, super speed. And then you actually can't do it at this age. And you don't really want to do it either. So it's
Yeah.
finding ways to slow down.
Well, and also you are get more exhausted because of all the different changes happening, and the
Mm,
pull of responsibilities in all directions. And also you just don't want to do the bullshit. You just don't want to be part of that bullshit anymore, do you? Do you know what I mean? You start
exactly.
getting really discerning about what you're going to spend your time on.
Yeah. When time just becomes more precious, you've got less of it. So you
Yeah.
want to get on and be with the people you really love. And you
Yes.
just get more discerning about how you're spending your time.
Yeah, completely. Um, And do you think we have gotten so busy trying to improve ourselves that we've forgotten how to pay attention?
That's a good question. Yeah, I think we probably have. Yeah, pay attention to us as human beings. You mean, in a
And
way, paying attention in that
yeah,
way.
just pay attention in general. For instance, we're going through heat waves at the moment, and
Mm.
it's quite worrying what's going on.
Yeah, it's
And
really well.
so not being so distracted by
Mm.
silly things. Do you know what I mean? From gossip to more product to whatever. Buying things to
Exactly.
make you happy, but actually being more concerned about the things that require our attention. Because I think we're at quite a pivotal stage of humanity. I think there's so
It's
much
quite
going on.
scary, isn't it? It's a scary time to
Yeah,
be in the earth. I'm
yeah,
very scared for my kids more than me because
of
you
course.
just think, well, just don't think that the leaders are really worried about that because they just want to make more money. So no one's
Yeah,
really worried in getting that top of the agenda, and they say they are, but they're not. And then you just think it's all in a mess, and it's just almost too big to think about. That you think, where would you even start? There needs to be a whole change of government, but I know it's another conversation, isn't it, Nahid?
yes. Yeah, I think another reason that midlife is quite interesting because I think it forces you to just to think about the things that are important.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it does.
And
Yeah,
you become less of a patsy in terms of consuming.
yeah,
You know,
definitely.
I think
Yeah,
when you're climbing up, you want those shiny things, don't you? You want everything that,
yeah.
but once you get to this age, you've probably got a wardrobe full of nice things
I know.
that you can mix and
I want to
match.
get rid of things now. We want to get rid of things and
I'm selling
simplify.
so much. I've been
Yeah,
selling so much on Vinted and Vestiaire, and if I buy, I normally just buy from there. Um,
yeah,
but
exactly.
you get rid of some things and you buy a few other little pieces, but they're all kind of pre-loved, and I find that really pleasing. It kind of
Yeah,
feels definitely less guilty, and you feel
it
it's a
does.
nice circular fashion route. So I'm
Yeah.
always interested in what you take and what you're doing because I often text you to go, I need something for my hair, or what should I take for my skin? So tell me what you
Um,
take. Are you taking lots?
am I taking? I take Deo for my sleep, and I
Yeah.
was taking it before it was my client, and I think it's amazing. And it's created by a naturopath in Paris who realized we were all too overwhelmed. And she wanted to create, I mean, it's basically said like the natural Valium. So she wanted to create something very calming. I think it's got so much vitamin B in it that it just really calms something down. But it works. So you take 3 a night, and I love that. And they've just launched a grounded, which basically makes you feel calm. It's like calm in a sachet. And I think that's amazing. So there's it's funny because you get an influx of these amazing products and you
Yeah.
realize what really works. So
Yeah.
I think I sent you the face oil by La Flore, which was the calming your skin barrier,
Lovely. Yeah.
which was beautiful. I think things like the Philip Kingsley hair mask is always amazing.
Mm.
So there's things like that. So yeah, there's obviously all the kind of cosmeceuticals that everyone gets more interested in midlife. So all the polynucleotides and the exosomes and all of those natural kind of skin boosters that are not a filler, I think become more interesting to women to
Yeah.
supercharge.
And what sort of face products do you use?
So I'm using the La Flora. I'm using a brand called Rationale, which is from a big clinic, but it's in Green Park called Le Petit Saint, and he sees all the supermodels. So he's injecting work and all his facials are amazing. And Giselle Somerville was based there, amazing facialist. So she got me on the Rationale, and they've got like a natural retinol, which I love. So all of those products, it's an Australian brand. It's amazing. It's not really on the radar of many people. So I really like that. Quite careful with retinols, but I quite like the brightening effects of their kind of night cream is really nice. I don't use loads of products. I'll
Yeah.
more have treatments to put loads of products. I'm not like doing an 8-step routine. Tend to
Yeah.
use like a balm cleanser and then something nice at night, and always a sunscreen, especially in this weather.
Yes. Yeah. And what supplements do you take?
So I take the Deome, I take Biosil because you can't take all these collagen powders, Sabine said. So this is a biostimulator. You can get it on Amazon. And
Tell me
that's
about
been
the
great.
collagen powders. Tell me about ingesting collagen. Work or not work?
So you can't take a collagen, it doesn't create collagen. So what you want to do is boost your own collagen to work
Yeah.
optimally. So that's what that does. It takes 3 months because it's getting your own body to do that. And that made a real difference to my hair.
Yeah, I'm taking it
So
since you told
yeah,
me years
it's
ago to
really
take
good.
it. So I take
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
it's really good. It's really good. So I like that. And then I sometimes take the Seller, but it's a natural Ozempic created by two amazing neuroscientists, and they discovered the science before they actually created the commercial product. And it's just an oil that gets into your lower colon. So because I don't really want to lose more weight, I'll just take it periodically. But once it sorts your microbiome out, you don't need to be on it. So it's unlocking your own GLP-1s, which is much better than having a synthetic one. So that's
Yes.
quite exciting, novel, new bit of science.
Brilliant. Anything else?
What else am I doing? What else am I doing? More treatments, I think. I go to Dr. Ivy for her skin boosters. She was the original Hollywood injector and did skin boosters for Monica Bellucci and people like that. And she's wonderful. So she's at the Hill Clinic. So I do a lot with her quite regularly. So she
Yeah.
boosts your skin with different agents, brightening, hyaluronic. So she's super clever. And you don't need the topical skincare once you've again boosted your own system. So I think that's where it's all going.
Wonderful. You do look absolutely amazing. I haven't seen you for a while. You do
Lots
look
of
gorgeous.
bronzer.
And what do you do for movement? What are you doing for how are you looking after yourself?
But I think when you have when you're really busy, you just have to find somewhere that's near you that you can be consistent with. So we live
Yes.
on a course. I can literally walk across the golf course and do the reformer Pilates.
Yes.
So I think that's good strength, but I don't think it's necessarily very calming for me. So I probably do need to fit some of your practice in the heat somehow.
Well, I will
But
be having a residency in London, so I'm going to get you in to do some hands.
I will come to that. I will do that. And then I walk a lot. I guess I try and walk a lot with the dogs. And I think the walking and the nature of the dogs is just calming, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I think both of those things are just really fab things to do. But I like to walk a lot in nature as well because it just brings me down in a really easy way. And then you can kind of communicate. I can chat to my husband and play with the dogs, and so it's a good all round.
Exactly.
Yeah. And how's your sleep these days? It's good.
My sleep's brilliant. It's been a lot of work. It's brilliant now. But I mean, I was having, as you know, he was having half an hour, and this went on for 18 months. And then Sabine got a grip of me and said, cortisol's too high. You're going to have to run your way out of this. So I did a lot of exercise to get it to 8 hours at night. A lot of exercise. So
great.
Yeah.
And what was the exercise? What did you do?
So I ran physically because she said you have to, it's like to get your cortisol down. She said you can't actually just, you're going to have to.
You've got to get it out the system, haven't you?
Exactly. Get it out of the system. So I did that, which I hated.
So I'm not bad as you running.
No, I hated it. So I don't do that anymore, but I do exercise 4 times a week and I walk every day for 15 minutes.
Brilliant. Well, have you thought of a little mini trampoline?
I know. Should I be trampolining?
I have one of those, because it's instead of running, you can trampoline. So I have it out in the garden. Okay. I put on some really great music and I jump for 20 minutes every morning.
Really? Okay, I'm going to start jumping.
It gets everything out. It just makes me feel so good. And it makes me just feel really happy. And then I'll do my reformers a bit later on and then I'll go for a walk, But jumping on a little mini trampoline, you'll love it. I think you'll really enjoy it.
Okay. I'm going to get jumping then, in that case.
Right, do that. What excites you most about where health and well-being is heading?
Well, I am intrigued about when, not necessarily wearing a billion trackers, although I do wear the high-low blood pressure continuous monitor.
Yeah.
Because I think that's quite interesting. I didn't know that blood pressure, if you don't keep a track of it, that's like a big silent killer, killing the most people. Yeah. So I do wear that. And I do think it's interesting to look at the data with someone who can interpret it properly. So like Sabine, I think that's a really good investment to really understand what supplements you need, what foods don't work for you, all of those things. And looking at how much energy is actually in our mitochondria is really interesting because if there isn't any energy, we are going to get sick. So I think, taking NAD doesn't really work. There's only one NAD powder that does work. So if you're trying to get the energy up in your cells and you can see it's being replaced again by this special, again, a biostimulator, then that's quite brilliant, isn't it? Because you're going to hopefully not get something.
And what's the biostimulator? Which one? Which one?
I don't know what she called it. She can only get it from VOB. So she tested a lot and she looked at people because most people don't have enough energy in their cells because of how we're living. And she
Yeah.
can see it being restored. So when you do the before and after, so you shouldn't really just take NAD willy-nilly like people are taking it. It can actually make you really sick. So if
Yeah.
you've already got abundant energy, you shouldn't be taking the NAD. So it was like really expensive, like £300 a month. I did it for 3 months, but then when they checked the energy in my cells, it had gone up significantly.
Wow.
So it's difficult, isn't it? It's like the wild west, isn't it? All the supplements, you don't know what to take.
I
So I think getting
know.
guidance from a person is quite important, whether it's a
Well, I
nutritionist, like
yeah, I always think I'm quite well versed on things, and then suddenly something will come out, and I'll start taking that, and I just think, what am I doing? I don't want to be
yeah,
complicated at all,
yeah,
you know. So I kind of
exactly.
cut it right down, and then just will work on my sleep.
Yeah, exactly. I think she said you do always test. She said you should never eat string beans. I thought there was going to be something really fascinating to come out of it with the food stuff, but it wasn't really. So
You should
I
never
don't
eat
eat
what?
string beans.
Why not? Interesting.
I said I just said I don't. Yeah, my body would not like eating string beans, but I thought it was going to tell me not to eat loads of things, but I can eat everything apart from that. So it's quite funny. Yeah, but it's good to get it's good to get tested. I
Yeah,
think.
well, I had my DNA done for food and my health quite a long time ago. Maybe about when would it be? Maybe about 15 years ago. And it was so good. It was all the things I knew actually that I shouldn't eat and should avoid. But I
Okay.
found it super, super helpful.
Yeah, it is really, really
Yeah.
helpful. And she's amazing. If anyone looks her up, she's doing fascinating things with lots of
Yes.
interesting people. So, yeah.
Brilliant. And if there's one thing that you wish every woman would understand about her health, what would it be?
What would it be? It would be that your health is unique to you, you know, and find out what works for you. And I think also like don't pressure yourself to do everything all the time. It's impossible. It's okay for things to slip up for a while. You can have a few weeks off exercise if your life's really busy, and then you can get back into it. I think women put so much pressure on
Yeah.
themselves to run a house and run a business and be a great mom. And, you know, my kid and I'm, you know, my kids can't even boil pasta, which is ridiculous, really. You know, I mean, I'm
Because you're
terrible
doing it
at that part.
all.
Yeah, and there is part being a Greek mom, isn't it? You're just
Yeah,
trying to
yeah, yeah.
be that, you know. So I think just to be okay with things. Things come out well in the end. Not to not to beat yourself up. Not
Yes.
to always be the perfectionist is okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I was going to come back to your hiring people because I hear lots of people sort of our age say that about the younger generation. But then actually, maybe we worked too hard. Maybe not having. I
Yeah,
mean, there is something about being willing and wanting to do things and wanting to prove yourself. Absolutely. And when you're younger, that is what you should do. But then we also had things to work for, like a flat or a house,
yeah,
and they're never going to get that. Do you know what I mean? So I can understand them not
yeah,
wanting to give everything to their work in the way that we did.
yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think they still can get on the property ladder. I think it was harder than we remember doing it, probably back
Maybe.
then.
Yes,
I
maybe.
do. And I think, you know, they get paid significantly more than we did. It's all relative, isn't
That's
it?
true.
But
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, I also just think that they think it's okay to plod along. And I just don't think the
Yeah.
magic happens when you're not immersed in something. And that doesn't
Yes.
mean they have to work till 10 at night, but I think having an idea of really where you want to get your client, I think you have to really immerse yourself in that,
Yeah.
in
No, I
this
think you're
industry.
right.
I think, you know, I just find that that's our biggest challenge is getting young people to create magic and do amazing things and just be focused. And I think
Yes.
also because social media has made everything, you know, you order something from Amazon, it comes the next day.
Yeah.
You can film on Netflix, you don't have to go to the cinema. So I
Yeah.
think there's everything's instant gratification.
Yes.
So nobody wants to do something that takes a bit longer to do, or they're
I think,
on TikTok and they scroll.
yeah, I think you're probably right, actually,
Why
because
would they want to take 20 years to know the journalists?
I know.
You know?
But I think you're probably right because
It's not appealing.
no, I'm seeing a real fall down of attention, a real kind of people really find it very hard. On this year's retreat, I had two younger women, and they found it so hard. They hadn't really done my work at all. One of them hadn't done it at all. One of them had done a bit, and they both found it so hard to focus.
Yeah.
And so they kept going out and in, and out and in.
That's
And they were
funny.
sort of, yeah, because my work isn't. I'm not doing to you. You've got to be an active participant in it. And when you are, you really find out about yourself. And that's how it becomes revelatory and very unique to you and so on.
Yeah.
But they found it, I mean, they said, at the end, they were just like, oh my God, that was amazing because I've really learned something about myself. But they found the process quite hard. So I certainly see that in people's levels of attention, kind of really waning the younger you
Yeah.
are, because exactly as you said, everything's so instant. You don't have to work at it.
Exactly.
Even, do you remember going to record shops and really finding out the name of someone, going there and finding out who they were and kind of being there waiting for the 12-inch and da da da. And they don't have any of that. You hear something. Levels of contentment and levels of ability to focus. Yeah, I think you've got something there.
And I think also just the discovery of the journey of learning. There's a bit of pain in that, but that's okay.
Yes,
Don't want any of
yeah.
So we'll see. Hopefully they can run the country better than the people running it now, but we'll see. I don't know. It's confusing. I find it very confusing. But
but you've got your two new people sorted and embedded.
I've got two senior people now in my age who are going to help two senior people to help the three junior people. So I'm hoping that's going to make things a bit better.
Brilliant. Because I've actually got another friend of mine who runs her own business, and she's got someone in who's a bit older, and she said he's just completely changed the dynamic of the whole office because he's so on it and he's so hardworking. And she had a good old chat with the younger lot and said, all right, everyone, we've got to up our game. You got to keep up with him.
I think one of these, Lisa's a very good friend of mine, was the head of Versace. So she'll very much like, right, girls, what's going on? She'll be like that. And I think that's kind of going to be helpful for them and me.
Yeah, brilliant. Great. All right. I've got a few quick fire questions for you. Ready?
Okay, yeah.
What do you know now that your younger self would have found hard to believe?
That I'll set up a business. I had no idea I would do that. That was not on my plan at all.
Funny. What's one wellness habit you've stopped doing?
One wellness habit I stopped doing. I stopped taking a green powder.
Yeah. What's one thing you never... And why is that? Because you had better information?
No, because I've just stopped doing it. I probably should restart because Pippa Campbell's green powder is so brilliant. So I've got it in my fridge and I'm going to motivate myself to do that. But I have stopped doing it. Not because I should stop doing it at all, Nahid.
What's one thing that you never compromise on anymore?
I don't compromise on. I tend to keep my sleep habits now. I think that sleep hygiene thing is tough for me. So I don't want to break that, I guess.
Yes, very good. And what's one conversation about health that you think we need to have more often?
You can't do it all. And no one should expect you to do it. And I think women expect it of themselves.
Yes.
Like a house, being a good wife, being a good, like everything all the time. And I think I would have let that go 10 years ago in hindsight.
Yeah. And are you going to teach your girls to cook? It's so important.
Yeah. I know. Astrid said, I think I'm just going to live on Deliveroo, mummy, when you die. I was like, oh, okay, great. God. Thanks for that. Yeah, thanks for that.
I remember I've got it on tape. My dad said to me, you need to learn to cook. And I said, why? And he said, so that you can cook for me when I'm older. And I said to him, no, Daddy, I'll take you out to restaurants.
Oh, how brilliant. Yeah. I think Astrid will because she's too stingy. So she won't take me out to any restaurants. She's going to have to do something. I don't know what it is. She can't even make a bit of toast.
Teach them
She's
to
going to have to
cook.
do something, Nahid.
Teach them to cook, because
No,
it's such a great
I know.
skill. But it also
I
means
know.
that you don't have to do so much.
Exactly.
Yeah,
No, that's my next thing, is to, yeah,
get them to cook.
teach them to do that.
Georgie, always a pleasure to see you
Thank
and
you,
talk to
Nahid.
you. Thanks for
You
sharing your
too.
wisdom. And I'm going to see you next week, I think.
Yeah,
Right.
brilliant.
Lots of love. Take care. Thanks for
Take care.
joining. Bye.
Bye. Bye.